Welcome to the Gray Area Podcast, the podcast where two regular guys dive into everything from sports, comedy, World War III, whatever, you name it, health, it's all there. As you can tell, Travis is not with me today, but I got three crazy guys ready to throw down on this podcast. Keep it tuned right here. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Gray Area Podcast, where the answers aren't always black and white, but the laughs are guaranteed.
And we're back to the Gray Area Podcast. As I mentioned, three crazy guys. And we're going to have them introduce themselves here in just a quick second. But we're going to talk about everything today. So make sure you hang on for the teaser after we're done with intros. And you're not going to want to miss this. So let's start on this end. Let's start with Seth. Seth, introduce yourself, brother.
All right, Seth Casey, live in Houston, Texas. Got a beautiful wife. Met Brooks a couple years ago. Kind of hit it off. Seemed like a guy that was cut from the same cloth. We were able to talk hunting, fishing, life, all that stuff. So I was excited to get an opportunity to jump on this podcast with you.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm Bill Bailey from Fort Worth, Texas. Shout out to my smoking hot trophy wife, Chrissy, and our two boys, Logan and Gabe. Looking forward to having some fun here and talking about some interesting stuff.
My name is Mike Shields. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Known Brooks for about a year now. Great guy. He talked about this podcast, so I was like, well, let's do one. And to the dismay from my two teenagers, I can't believe I'm going to do my first podcast ever. So let's see what happens.
All right, as they kind of aforementioned there, that we all met each other in the paint game through work. And we're all interested in the same things. And we're going to talk about those things today. We're going to talk about nicotine pouches. We're going to talk AI, Bigfoot, Yeti, Star Troopers, all that fun stuff. AI, Eddie. Yeah, AI is the new thing, right? We're going to talk health and where our travels have taken us and just all kinds of things. Country singers, you name it. We're going to talk about it. You don't want to miss this, so keep it tuned. Right here.
You're listening to the Gray Area Podcast, where the answers aren't always black and white, but the laughs are guaranteed.
All right, let's dive into some topics, guys. First off, these guys are from all over Texas. We have Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio. Today, we are in Corpus Christi for a fishing trip with these guys. And we're going to go ahead and just talk about who is the best fisherman out there. And all the thumbs point to this guy. Oh, wait.
Well, hang on.
Well,
how many did you catch?
Well, we got to tell a story about this, Brooks. Your nickname was Catfish.
Right.
Until you caught the biggest damn trout I've ever seen.
That's what I've been saying.
Brooks caught a big-ass trout
Brooks
today.
had fish
Very
today.
big. Yeah.
No contest.
Big fish.
27 inches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And those for you who don't know, a 27-inch trout, that is a nice trout. There's a lot of guys that fish for that for a lifetime and never catch one like that. I've been fishing for trout for almost 8 years now, and the biggest I've ever caught was 26, and we take this guy out there, and I think untying a knot or trying to get untangled, and then Lily says, oh, I got a fish, and I'm like, oh my God, dude.
I will say that Bill and I had to help him hold on to him so he didn't get pulled in. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Seth explains the story to me about how, fishermen, like, they could go a lifetime and never get something that big, and when they catch it, they are extremely ecstatic. Now, me, I was excited. I mean, it was just kind of like, heck yeah, man, I just got a big fish. He's like, dude, that was so under-level excitement when you should have been. But so we really need to talk about the elephant in the room. The guy who really tried to work his way to the front of the boat every time.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
I've never seen somebody cast over everyone else and get them tangled up just so he can get into the
Bull in a
quote,
china
unquote,
closet.
good fishing spot.
Good grief.
Captain Paul was our captain. He told me to cast right between those guys, and I did, and I caught a fish every damn time.
They stole
They
it.
were not working.
Yeah.
They were not working.
That's
their work
because
correctly.
the captain was cutting our lines and having to retie our hooks for us because you tangled us so bad before that.
yeah, talk about, what's that, spatial awareness? Or lack thereof. Yeah, so who caught the most reds?
Well, I think I caught the most, but I didn't catch any keepers.
Right. You did?
I limited out on trout and reds. Slot, both of them.
You did, both
Yes,
of them.
Yes.
Bill, what'd you do today?
Man, a true fisherman doesn't keep tally. So I caught a lot. I limited out on reds, but you know, I probably caught the most, but I don't want I don't want Mike to feel bad, so I'm not gonna fight him on it. Okay.
It was a long day. We were out there at what, 6 a.m.?
6 in the morning.
That's when we hit the water, 6 a.m.
Yeah,
And then we fished till,
1.
was it 1?
1:30.
yeah.
Dang, that was long.
Long day.
So when we were out there, we thought we ran out of shrimp. I was elated to be done because of course I had my shirt off. I was catching a tan. If I wasn't catching a fish, I was catching a tan, and I was like, oh great, it's over. And the guide goes up and he grabs the shrimp and he starts to clean out the little bucket and everything and he's like, wait, we got 5 or 6 more in here. I was like, damn.
No, but the best part was, he goes, hold on, we got the skipjack to cut up.
Oh yeah.
So they cut up
Yeah.
the skipjack, and yeah, it was a fun day, super fun day.
Which shout out to Captain, pardon me, it's Brawley, Paul, Captain Paul. Thank you for a great time.
Yes. Great time.
Shout out to our fraternity brother Jeff Hunt that hooked us up with Captain Paul down here in Corpus Christi. He put us on the fish all day, worked hard to make sure we had a good time, and it was really bad conditions. A lot of wind out there today. It was tough fishing.
It was.
But Captain kept us on the fish, kept trying new spots. He worked hard for us, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, and then going back to having the leftover shrimp, we went to one more spot. He's like, we threw out like 5 or 6, 7 more shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
And Seth, you brought in
Caught a drone.
Couple black drum, yeah.
a black drum just to bring us on.
Nice
home.
little kicker fish for the end of the trip. That was fun.
Wait. I had the best catch of all day at the end of the trip. Your hat.
Yeah, this trip, my hat didn't go flying.
Yeah, this guy and this guy both lost their hats.
That's not the worst mistake I made all day, though. I somehow managed to put sunscreen all over my body. My wife is listening to this. She'll be very proud. However, I forgot the tops of my feet, and your boy wore flip-flops out there today. And I don't know if I'm brave enough to put on socks tomorrow when I leave here.
He's gonna pay for that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It looks like
feeling.
lobsters. You're walking on lobsters. It looks like.
Yeah.
So we do have got a fridge full of fish, and hopefully Seth's gonna cook us up some fish tonight.
Yeah, Seth is supposedly the chef master.
That's right.
Somewhat of a culinary savant.
He's
He's our resident deer camp chef, so
Yes,
we
he
figured
is.
he could be the fish camp chef with a pretty quick change of hat. So
Also armorer, also master fisherman. All the above. I'm a jack of all trades.
Yeah, master of none.
Master of none.
Hey, we've been thinking of nicknames for everybody. You're Redfoot now.
Redfoot.
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 Yeah, there you go.
It's better than seahorse.
Hey, what's up, Seahorse?
hey, I owe you a trip, Seahorse. I'm gonna take care of it.
Shout out Jason Deckard.
Yeah.
I called it out. Anything else exciting happened today during the fishing trip, guys?
Just a lot of fishing, a lot of catching today.
Yeah, it was fun. It started out when we first got out there. We started fishing for trout, and we caught quite a bit of trout. I think that was the one fish that I did limit out on today.
Mm-hmm.
So, but after that, my luck changed. But I mean, we started out catching those fish, and then moved to a couple spots, and kind of like you would ride it out. Yeah, you'd write it in a story. And we caught redfish right after that, up on the flats, and picked up a couple of black drum. I mean, it's kind of how you would hope a fishing trip would go.
Honestly, I after we didn't all limit out on trout. I thought, man, this is gonna be a crappy end of the day. I was like, we're gonna call it a day at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, and then man, when we hit the reds,
Yeah.
that was a frenzy, dude.
What's crazy to me was that boat was maybe 20 yards from us or whatever, 30 yards, and they were just one after the
Oh,
other.
yeah.
And then Captain Paul, I mean, good captain, he gets right beside me. He goes, hey, they're going to go over here. And we went around behind the boat, the other side, and boom, we're right in them.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, he definitely gave us our money's worth, that's for sure. I was telling Bill while we were out there, there was at one point where we had ran out of bait and after trout fishing, and he's like, hey, we're gonna go get some more. We're gonna go chase some other stuff. I've gone on a lot of guide fishing trips. Usually once your bait's run out, it's all right, day's over, we're gonna head home. You caught some fish, and he was adamant about putting us on
Yeah.
some stuff.
And who knew HEB frozen shrimp does a trick? I never knew that. It worked.
Well, I will say this: I did limit out. on something today. Catfish.
Yeah.
I learned it out on catfish. All right, what did I have? A gaff top. What else did I have?
Hardhead.
Hardhead.
Yeah, we didn't have to come all the way to Corpus for you to limit out on catfish. I could have took you to some spots. And you could have actually ate those. I wouldn't eat the ones in the salt water.
We were just talking about, hey, keep them outside the boat. You know, you don't want to get stuck by one. And I had one probably this big. I didn't know he was on my line. He was just the size of my croaker. And I'm reeling in, and I'm like, you know, I just pulled it in like that, and that sucker shot out of the water, hit me in the arm, didn't stick me. But man, when it did hit me, I started freaking out. I was like, did I get stuck? I don't know. I can't feel
poisoned?
it. Am I poisoned? Because you're talking about what?
Yeah, so I have two stories really. So I mean, people don't realize that with those catfish, their fins they're poisonous, right? That's the defense mechanism.
Right.
And so if you grab them and you get poked by one of those fins, you will swell up and get infected. My dad, avid catfisherman, grew up catfishing with him my whole life. We were out fishing one day and he went to go grab a fish and it flailed, hit him right in the thumb, and that thing was swelled up about the size of a baseball. I had to go to the emergency room to get it drained. I had another buddy that literally dropped a catfish on his foot when he was trying to take up the hook, and it dropped and stuck in his foot. Was in the ER in the hospital for like 3 days.
So I mean, are lake catfish as poisonous as
It's
saltwater?
about the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the same. I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I couldn't tell you like whether one's more poisonous or not. But I know both of them. If you get hit with one, you're not going to be having a good rest of the day. So,
Well, you know, kind of transitioning to another subject. You know, out there fishing, you got to have one thing. You got to have your nicotine pouches.
Gotta have your pouches.
You got to have your Zins. You got to have your Lucy Breakers.
Rogies.
Rogues.
your ons,
Your ons.
breakers, yep.
They're all here. I mean, who wants to sponsor us? Because we'll take it.
I know it's not tobacco, it's nicotine, but we always had a saying growing up, me and my buddy, we got fishing, if you're not chewing tobacco, the fish ain't chewing your bait.
Yeah.
And so it's just habit to have one in the whole time. I mean, it's just, it's probably a bad habit, but just to have one in there all day long.
So scientists say, this is what the internet told me.
And I'm talking about tobacco now.
Yeah, I'm scratching tobacco because I'm anti-tobacco, but because you know I do these nicotine pouches. But scientists say that 6 milligrams a day is good for you. Now, there's one pouch is 6 milligrams.
Yeah.
It's not the whole.
Times 5.
Yeah, 15 or
What do they
whatever.
say about 40 milligrams a day?
Yeah,
So I think I hit that before 12 o'clock a day.
Well, I guess it has something to do with like your neurological stimulation.
Nootropic.
Nootropic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, it was so. When did you turn me on to these? Well, so I first heard about it on Rogan. We'd talk about it, and then I heard Tucker talking about it. Of course, he has Alp.
Yeah. It
Brand
used
now.
to be Zins.
Okay. But Tucker Carlson was just like, oh my gosh, you know, and I'm thinking, you know, I've done all forms of tobacco, and you know, nicotine's nice. I used to have occasional cigarette, you know, it's nice. Used to like to chew Red Man. But he was so like excited about it. I was like, who gets that excited about dipping snuff? Like, what's the deal? And so I think I took the first one with Seth.
I turned you on to him because I'd struggled, and I still do tobacco, and so like trying to quit, it's just like, hey, sometimes to me it's just like having something to. I'm driving all the time. I get fidgety, and so you were talking about, I think, wanting to quit smoking, or you were like you were getting those cravings for maybe to have a smoke or something like that. It was something to do with that, and I was like, well, here, try one of these. Like it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting.
Well, quick segue on that. So with smoking, it's interesting with me with tobacco. I've never been like addicted to it. I can smoke couple packs over a period of a month and stop and not smoke for 3 years. I could chew a couple bags of Red Man, and this was even in college. Like, you know, classic college, smoke when you drink.
Right.
You know, but I never craved it. I never woke up and said, oh man, I need a cigarette. You know, so that was good. You know, and I never had an addiction to tobacco or cigarettes. But when I heard Tucker talking about this nootropic and turning your brain in and all this, I was like, I'll give it a try. And I think the first time was without Seth, and I went and bought some and tried it. And I think I started with like a 6 milligram first time. Made me sick, or not like, you know,
Yeah.
just didn't feel well. you take a pouch out and it goes away pretty quick.
Your
But I was
first,
like, that's not fun for me.
your first time, dude. I was driving down 45 and I popped an 8 milligram in for the first time, and I felt like the highway was spinning. I had to pull off the side of the road, and I was like, I went into the gas station and I like chugged a couple of water. I was like, I gotta get right.
Yeah.
I just was not used to that hit. It was
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
It's strong at first.
Yeah, it wasn't enjoyable, so I was like, yeah, that's not for me. I didn't realize there were like different levels.
Right.
So then I found the ONS, the 2 milligram, which is real kind of entry level. We took a 2 milligram pouch driving down the highway, and that whole Tucker epiphany, like it felt like taking Adderall, man. I was like, oh, dude, I got to call this guy. I got to get this done. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do. It was a crazy, and I've never felt that like chewing Red Man,
Right.
you know? So definitely felt that nootropic effect. Unfortunately, that type of awakening is over, because now I wake up and take 2 6 pouches at 6 a.m. So
With
12
your coffee.
milligrams
With the
with the
coffee.
coffee.
Yeah.
Weren't
Got to
you-
get everything moving in the morning, you know.
Where do you start on that? Were you like in disbelief? One of your buddies was popping like 2 8 milligrams.
Oh, yeah,
at,
yeah.
like at a time.
Alex
You were-
White, fraternity brother, he's like, man, down at the fire station, I'll take like 3 8 milligrams at a time, and I thought that was like Ozzy Osbourne type, you know, craziness.
Tell me my story real quick about all this stuff. So,
You're welcome.
yeah, y'all too. Never been a smoker my whole life. Always stayed away from nicotine. Never did any kind of tobacco, dip, chew, anything. We're in a sales meeting in the Dominican Republic, going on a little golf outing, drinking beer, shooting golf, or if you call what I do, play golf. Anyway, I think Seth or Bill pops out like a 6 or something, and I'm, okay, give me one. So I pop it in, and oh my God, I was just like spinning on the golf course.
Started wrestling Seth.
Yeah,
You got
Seth on the golf
Well,
course.
and weren't you kind of like gun shy after that first one?
Yeah, I was like, man, I cannot believe you gave me that. I was kind of pissed off at you about it. Fast forward 6 months.
We're all together again.
We're at a trade show in Houston. We're all standing around the trade show, talking to people, and Bill pulls some more out. And he has like some ons. He goes,
The
"Here,
2
you want
milligram.
2?" I said, hell no, dude. You about killed me last time with those damn things. He goes, man, this is a 2. I'm like, okay. So I pop it in. I'm like, all right, that's not too bad. So fast forward till now, I'm on like 5 8s a day.
He's sending us pictures of all the different flavors he just picked up. Like, I got this. He's got like all like the colors of the rainbow in his in his console in his truck. Yeah. I was when Bill had popped those out. I was and when we were out golfing, we were in the Dominican, and I didn't bring any of my tobacco with me because I was kind of scared to take it on a plane, go to another country. Well, this guy shows up with some nicotine, and I'm like, give me some. Like, I need some. And so it was like, yeah. But so your point about drinking and smoking, I would say probably 85% of the time that I've ever smoked a cigarette, it's been while I've been just drinking heavily. And I ended up making me throw up. So I've never been a smoker. Like I'm always like, I've never been a smoker. I'll smoke a cigar every now and then with like some bourbon and stuff like that because I like to enjoy bourbon. And I'll have a cigar or like special events, stuff like that. But cigarettes, they make me like those cartoons where someone takes a puff of a pipe and they turn green.
Oh, yeah.
That's me. Like it's bad.
Well, so my story is how I started. I've never smoked a day in my life. No, cigars, yes. Same thing, bourbon, whatever. But my wife started to get seizures, right? And I immediately had a realization that I couldn't drink and be drunk and not coherent to if something happened to her to where I would have to I couldn't sober up that quick to take care of her. So I had to find something else, and this kind of gave me a little bit of an edge. It broke the edge, and if I was on like an 8 milligram when I was in my earlier days, all I had to do is pop it out and I'm ready to go in like 3 minutes, right? It goes away quick. So that's kind of how I got started on these, and so yeah. But I'm at 6s or 8s or whatever. I'm not a double dipper on the 6 milligrams or anything like that yet.
Yeah.
I will say, no one's paid me to say this, and I've tried the ONS, I've tried the Rogue, tried the Zins. Well, as soon as I had these, I got online. I ordered.
Did you order something?
I ordered like a variety of
Oh
things.
yeah, you ordered the.
Because this is the
Lucy
first.
Breakers.
This is really the first one that I've had, and again, it's not a paid ad.
Right.
But this is like one of the first ones that I've had that like kind of I didn't get acid reflux.
Really?
It's just like I get heartburn real bad with some of the other ones. The Ons of certain flavors aren't too bad, but like the Zins do it terrible for me. But like this is the first one, and I was like, man, I might actually be able to kick this tobacco thing, because it is something that I've thought about here recently. It's like, hey, like it started out as like, oh, I'll just pop one every now and then, and it's just like habitual, like kid function without one in my lip, and that's like I was never a person that thought I had an addictive personality, and then that happened, and it just kind of was like, oh, that's how people get to this point where they're either buying a can a day.
I don't know that I have an addictive personality. I just enjoy it sometimes. I enjoy it. And I stopped for a week or so just to test myself out. But talking about the Lucy Breakers not paid. First of all, you got to be 18 or older to have these. Disclaimer there. But I heard about the Lucy Breakers on the Two Bears One Cave podcast with Tom Segura and Bert and the Machine, and I was like, "There's another one out there," and they were like, "Oh yeah, dude, you break them."
They do.
like a Camel Crush.
They do a pretty good job of marketing with podcasts. Like I found out about them. The first time I heard about them was with the Bussin' with the Boys podcast.
Oh yeah.
Like they were like, "God, Lucy Breaker." I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Was Segura taking him? I thought he was a rogue guy.
So they were talking about it on the podcast. And Bert was like, "Oh, you know what I love? I love hitting a Lucy," and he was talking about whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
And then Bert's like, "Do you mean a breaker?" And they're like, yeah, Lucy Breaker. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I like those too." But the thing about those is the flavor lasts for
Yeah, that's a long time. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you got me on these last week in McAllen at the trade show. Try one of these, and now I'm stuck on them.
Well, you used all of them.
I did, yeah.
My apple
I
cider.
brought you more today.
So speaking of flavor, that the Ons were my original go-to, the cinnamon. But that cinnamon is it's very discreet. The On pouch, that's nice. You're at work or something,
small.
like it's hidden. Nobody ever knows you have it. Good cinnamon flavor, but something in that cinnamon, it burns the skin off your lip, man.
yeah.
Like you'll shed skin off your lip. And then I was going on coffee with cinnamon. The combo was really nice.
Little nicotine cocktail.
Yeah, a little cocktail. And then I remember when we went shooting and I had like 10 cans I bought from Europe on this website.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these toffee, caramel, all these different flavors, moist pouches, dry pouch. Like, I've tried a lot of them. And I can't remember, I stumbled on, honestly, I don't know. Maybe I heard Tom Segura talking about this is why I tried it. And so the apple, and these are mango. I'm a sugar addict, which maybe we can get into later. And I've cut sugar out as of January 1, most sugar, cut it down a lot, sugars and carbs. But I have an insatiable sweet tooth. And so these sweet pouches, apple and mango,
Cuts that urge.
when I'm trying to fight that demon and maybe not even eat, I can pop this in and man, it satisfies that sweet tooth. Long lasting flavor on the apple and mango. They're tasty. The Lucy's are great. I just tried one for the first time 2 days ago with Mike. They're great. But that flavor has helped me like in losing weight since the first of the year and fight my sweet tooth, so they're too sweet for a lot of guys. Like they'll do the apple, it's too sweet. They like that traditional like wintergreen type of tobacco flavor. And I get it, but with me being a sweets guy, they hit the spot for me.
Well, talking about using these and losing weight, that's when I started to lose weight big, is because I'd put one of these in my mouth and I wouldn't eat. Because I can't eat and have one in my mouth. So if I had that in there, I just wouldn't eat. And it also curbed my appetite a little bit.
Yeah.
Are y'all upper deckers or lower deckers?
I'm a lower decker.
Yeah, I'm traditional where the
I am too. I think it's just out of habit.
Yeah.
I don't putting it on your upper lip for me is, but you never have done it before.
No, so I'm strictly upper decker.
Yeah.
Upper decker.
Did you ever chew tobacco or do Copenhagen or anything?
I think I did it one time in college and puking my guts out, and that was it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me fraternity party and some guys chewing some Copenhagen. Give me some. And I took a big old handful and woke up and still, just lost it all. So I've never done that again. Yeah.
I started with the lower deck because that's the traditional chewing. And I've never chewed in my life. I've never done anything like that. and you guys all know Bobby Strangs, right?
Bobby, yeah.
So that's my alter ego, Bobby Strangs, if you don't know. Anyways, in order to get into the country accent, I put one of these in my bottom lip, and I turned country.
It does.
Immediately.
There's something to that. When the bottom lipper does definitely help out with the accent.
Little Southern twang.
You sing country songs a little bit better.
Right.
I mean, it just seems natural. You know.
I think it helps you sing Creed better also.
Look, man, no one can belt Creed like I can.
You can sing Creed.
You know, another side benefit we've talked about, not to get into too much TMI, but nicotine can get, shall we say, get the system moving in the morning.
Oh, yeah. It can.
So when you get up in the morning, I usually get up 5:45, 6, feed the dogs. I got a routine. I'm a routine guy. Feed the dogs, get my coffee going. Get my coffee. I take 2 drinks of my coffee, 2 pouches, and like clockwork, within about 6 minutes, it's go time, baby.
Well, I hate
time.
to tell you this doesn't sound like a routine. That sounds like a ritual.
Or an addiction there.
Yeah, that sounds like a ritual.
Ritual.
Yeah, that is TMI, Bill.
Hey, sometimes it's the best part of my day. Yeah.
But you know what though? Like your day, if your day starts that way, it better go well.
Oh yeah.
You know, it better go well, or the rest of the day is pretty shitty.
Literally.
Yes.
No pun intended.
If we can take a left turn into truck stop and gas station,
Yeah. Hey,
bathrooms if we need to. But
Where's your favorite? So we travel a bunch. Like
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
on the road a bunch. Where's y'all's favorite place to go to the bathroom?
Buc-ee's for sure.
Buc-ee's.
yeah, hands down.
Well, that's the easy one. You want to know a little hidden secret that I found?
sure.
You may have been the
I
one that
turned you on to this.
told me this. Should
HIE.
yeah.
HIE.
What's that?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
those people that are on the road, I have found that if you walk into a hotel,
Holiday Inn Express.
Oh yeah.
like you're staying
You
there,
just walk into the bathroom.
Yep.
Yep.
and find their lobby bathroom,
Yeah.
which typically nobody uses.
Right.
they're
They are the
clean,
cleanest bathroom.
lockable door.
Oh.
So you walk in and take your phone. Yeah. And you just walk and find a bathroom,
Yeah, you don't even
clean,
know.
quiet. Come out, grab you a biscuit and some eggs on the way out.
Hit it at the right time.
Yeah, but I had this discussion with my brother-in-law last week on vacation. I'm very particular about where I will do that. I can't pull into a 7-Eleven and just drop trout. I can't. I got standards. Okay.
Unless
And
you
I've
have
been,
to.
I've been a road warrior for many years, and I figured out the hotel trick
That
a
was-
long time ago.
that was-
And
Smart.
it's never failed me. Nobody's ever stopped me, asked me. Bathroom's always clean, pristine, ready to go. So that's my way of avoiding the QT bathroom, the 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
the Alsops. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Hey man, sometimes I'll go to Buc-ee's instead of going to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Buc-ee's
Plain
is
as
so
bell.
nice.
I don't know about you, Brooks. You're usually driving more outside the Houston area, but I cover all of the Houston area where I'm at. And if anybody's from Houston, you know that there's just some places that you don't stop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You don't stop. And then to get around to those places, you're usually on 99 all the way outside, and there ain't nowhere to stop.
No. No.
Well, since we're on the subject of disgusting bathrooms, how about the bathroom at the bait shop?
Well,
Oh, I didn't go to that
Oh,
one.
God.
I specifically avoid that one. A bathroom in the hot sun all day with no AC.
Stinky bathroom, smells like shrimp, smells like fish, and hot.
But that's what
Dirty.
you should expect at a
Dirty.
bait shop, though. Like you're not going to go to the bathroom at the bait shop thinking
No.
it's going to be nice and
That
manicured.
bait shop toilet had been cleaned since '78.
Oh, we probably would have caught more fish, but we're waiting on somebody to get out of the bathroom. Brooks.
Well, so, okay. You got to understand. I had my gallbladder removed. And so when things come, they come, right?
You gotta go.
It didn't matter where you're at, or they're going to come out, talking about what Bill was saying about, rush stops. But, yeah, that was nasty, but I had to do what I had to do, man. And there's, hey, this is how I roll. Unless it's like completely full of crap all over the lid, if it's okay, I will layer that sucker with toilet paper. So I'm not touching porcelain
That's so true. Yeah, true.
if I have to. I do that on everyone anyways, even if it's clean. But
Hey, I feel like last time we went to Pat's Ranch, we had a big discussion about
all that could be a whole separate podcast. Yeah. Go 2 hours about those kind of stories.
We can talk about porta potty.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, let's take a break real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll dive into some AI. What do you guys think?
Do it.
All right, keep it tuned right here. Gray A Podcast.
You're listening to the Gray Area Podcast, where the answers aren't always black and white, but the laughs are guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Gray Area Podcast, and we have interesting conversations. We go from fishing to Zens to truck stop bathrooms. All right? So we're going to dive into some AI. I know a lot of you guys are on your phones 24/7. Some of you aren't, maybe. That's great. But the new craze is AI. Whether you have ChatGPT, you have Grok. Is it Gronk or Grok?
Grok.
Yeah, Grok. Whatever else. There's I use AI for editing clips on my podcast. So if you see a clip from this podcast, it'll be edited by AI. I don't do that myself, which is pretty cool. And then if you're on like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, you're seeing right now there's a flood of Yeti, Bigfoot AI, where they're running in the woods, they're at the LA protests, they're whatever.
Right.
And last week we were at the McAllen trade show, and I was like, Mike, have you seen these TikToks? This is Bigfoot running in the woods. He's on some booger sugar. Or he's hitting a geek bar,
Yeah.
or he's taking 3 cans of Zins,
Yeah.
and he's geeked out, or he's on whatever, and it's hilarious, the stuff that they put on there. Have you guys seen them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
my favorite one I've seen so far is one where he sticks the stick of dynamite in the campfire.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
he blows it up and he goes, "Oh, that's a little much." Yeah. He blows them all up. Yeah.
So is that fully AI?
Full AI.
Full AI.
See, I was under the impression, and I'm a millennial, and honestly, I'm kind of a late adopter to a lot of technology things. I enjoy things like fishing, hunting, shooting. Like if I play some video games, but that's on like an hour, maybe an hour once a week. But the whole AI thing, I'm way behind on. I thought maybe what I was thinking was if somebody was like doing it, like acting that out,
Put a
and
filter on 'em.
Put a filter on it. That's how far behind I am right
Yeah.
now on it. I didn't realize that was fully AI generated.
So typically what happens is it's a prompt. So you type in here, give me Bigfoot in the woods, and he's running, and whatever. You describe the whole scene, and then you can give him dialogue, what you want him to say while this is happening, and when, and what. So it produces that video. It's pretty sick.
So like that guy that's doing the Bigfoot though, how does he protect his intellectual property or his ideas? Could you go do a Bigfoot video?
Yeah, I can do it. So AI is producing it. It's not this guy. AI is making it.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, there's
you can't copyright it or own it or profit off it, or
Well,
I mean maybe they profit off it.
He's profiting off of.
But anybody could do a Bigfoot video.
Anybody can. Yeah.
like there's been like stormtrooper ones, like ducks talking. I mean,
Yeah,
anybody
you
can
seen
do
the
it.
AI babies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
those-
scenes
Those are-
and
dude, those make me.
I did one.
Oh, you did?
Did you see mine?
Yeah, I saw it.
It was the baby Bobby Strings.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and that's how I did it.
Dude, those are hilarious.
So talking about Gronk,
Grok.
whatever. Seth had never heard of it. I don't think Bill had heard of it. There's a mode on there that's called Unhinged, so you can ask it whatever. So I said, "Who's going to catch the most fish this weekend between Seth, Bill, Mike, and Brooks?" And dude, she went off, and it is so funny. All the stuff she's saying about. And I think Seth came in last place, but all
She
the
was
stuff
very
she
favorably to me.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But so if you guys have never tried Gronk Unhinged version, Gronk, it is so
Don't do it around. Don't do it around. Don't do it around the kids though.
like Gronkowski. Yeah. Don't do it around kid or Lane Salvatore. He did not like it.
But yeah, AI can do a lot of different things, and it's pretty cool.
Well, I think we're going to get into conspiracy theories later, but I kind of feel like I listen a lot of Joe Rogan. AI is at the infancy right now, but it's going to get so big and so immersive, and I think AI might take over the world one day.
I can tell you the two things.
Terminator, man.
I tell you,
Yeah,
the two,
Terminator.
I'll tell you the two things that I interact with AI the most time is like when you Google search something on your phone and it gives the AI overview. But sometimes it's not perfect. Like you do have to kind of fact check it because sometimes I'll Google it knowing the answer, but I just want to reassure myself. And then it says something, I'm like, well, that's not right. Let me dig more into that.
Yeah.
So it's like I wouldn't fully rely on that. The other one is like on your phones now. If you have an iPhone, I don't know
Yes.
if Android does it, where it just like it'll say like your response, you respond back to it.
Yeah.
Or like if you haven't opened up a group of messages, it'll like give you kind of like a highlight of what's being talked about.
Right. Yeah. It's a summary.
Yeah. Sometimes it's funny. Like
And if, I mean, you know, in business and sending customers emails, I mean, I'm like, okay, I need to talk about this. And then I'm like, I don't sound that good. I stick in Chat GPT. Oh my, it comes out sounding like, oh, yeah.
Like, who's this guy?
That's what I meant to say. You know? So it's,
I found it interesting in ChatGPT that, and I heard Rogan talking about this, and that he uses it, and whoever's guest was, that as their search. And I never used it as that. I would go to it for specific things, and still rely on Google.
Yeah.
And I'm now switching because what he was saying, and which I found to be true, you do a Google, and so for example, I was doing this a couple weeks ago. How long should I cook bacon in the oven in a Google search? Well, you get paid, you know, to be in the top 10. So people are promoting, and then it's like a recipe. So I have to click on it and then read through this whole, here's how I love bacon. And well,
Scroll through the
if you
ads.
do that to Chat GPT, you get the answer.
right there.
425, 20 minutes. It's not multiple links that you have to choose. So it's faster information.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start, I think, segueing to that for searching.
So have you
know.
seen
Your phones.
on Twitter? So Twitter, if somebody,
X?
you know, or the X, whatever it's called. If somebody says something, the next person
Grok,
will
what
say,
about-
"Grok, is this correct?"
Yeah, they'll fact check it immediately.
Fact check it right then. So that's AI fact checking, scouring the web and all the information it goes into.
Yep.
To like, yeah, this is true or this is bullshit.
Yeah, which it's really, that's been interesting because
Yeah.
you'll see, we tend to believe, if you're an early adopter with information, we tend to believe it. Whoever runs the story first controls the narrative. And so you'll see these inflammatory posts. Could be Trump this, Biden that, this, left, right. And you see something and you go, that makes me mad. And then you go tell all your friends, can you believe this?
Yeah.
Well, now the first comment will be,
comment
Brock, is this true?
Right, and then you-
it'll, whoop,
Yeah.
and then fact check it and say, nope, that's BS, man. And so that's really been an interesting
been good.
development for information.
Misinformation.
Misinformation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what your iPhone now has is the
Apple
S word.
Intelligence.
Yeah, Apple Intelligence. So when you ask her, that's what you get is Apple Intelligence.
Oh yeah,
Instead
like
of-
for Siri when you're.
Yeah, you just activated every Apple device in here though. Yes.
I did what?
You activated.
Oh, with Siri.
Yeah, okay.
They're all listening.
Siri, go to sleep.
Oh yeah. We're both on MacBooks here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's built into it. So now you just ask her instead of ChatGPT.
We had a what did we have at the house? What are some of what's the Google one called?
Oh, the Nest.
Well, that's
Not
That's
Nest.
the
What's the Amazon one?
Alexa.
Alexa, yeah.
No, we had a different one.
You can give
It was the Google.
The Google Home.
It was the Google Home.
Yeah.
It was the Google Home. And we probably had it for 8 months, and it's kind of convenient. What's the weather? But then I, being who I am, started getting paranoid that it's listening 24 because I could be saying some crazy stuff to my wife, or maybe we're talking about the mortgage or the bank account, and it's capturing all that in the background. So I unplugged that joker a while
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Like your
Can't
this
figure that
thing
out.
does the same thing, and so does this thing.
They all
Why'd you
do.
tell me that? Hey, I've got those bags, right? That'll
Your-
block them, right?
Yeah, you put that in your bag. Your
I
Faraday
put my
bag?
truck key in the
I just-
Faraday bag.
I have Faraday. I do. I put my truck in the Faraday
Yeah.
bag.
Well, Bill, I noticed you don't have your post-it note over your camera when you.
Well, I used to have a slide thing. I need to. It's on my old computer, but yeah, it's always watching too. I used to block it,
Yeah.
and not because people could hack that and like
for
look
sure.
into your house before they rob you. You know?
Have you not seen The Accountant?
Oh yeah.
The second one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
was good.
Hack into it, get
Oh,
to the
yeah.
photos and find the person. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Paranoia has set in.
Well, actually, Bill was always doing that because he was setting his computer in his lingerie, and he
During a Zoom meeting?
See.
Oh, dude, there was a big thing on that. You saw that, right? Where he was being interviewed by, like, I don't know if it was CNN or ABC or something like that.
And he got up and he was in his underwear.
Well, I think he was doing lube
Oh,
acts.
Oh,
his last name was Tubin. Yeah, that was his guy's last name was CNN. He got caught doing the
Lubin is tubing.
he was on camera. Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
that down.
I unplugged my Google, whatever it was, but at the end of the day, I've also you can't hide, man. You can't go live like the Unabomber in the woods, man. I mean, they know your driving patterns through your truck. They know your email. They know it all, man.
Yeah, I went total home, so I do the HomeKit, Apple HomeKit. So where I have my thermostats on there, I have my front door locks. There's a net that.
I know. I think I got it.
I don't think you did.
I will.
Thermostats. My phone will start my truck.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Same with the Ford app.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty cool and scary at the same time.
Well, I mean, the way technology is advancing so quick, what are our kids going to be into? When our kids are our age, I can imagine.
Right.
I mean, they're not gonna have these no more. I guarantee you.
No, they're already making like glasses.
Oh yeah, the glasses.
Oh yeah, check those out.
The Ray-Ban glasses.
They're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
My son, my youngest, Gabe, is going to college in Japan, and I tried to get him. Gabe's very traditional, sees the world real black and white, wants to not depend on technology for like a leg up. So, but I was like, dude, get this software. It basically just checks your grammar.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to do that, Dad. Okay, fine, whatever, But he was telling me that when he writes papers, that the professors, and I'm sure this isn't just Japan, I'm sure it's everywhere, they actually have a counter software to read the paper that will identify if it was written by AI.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's funny you bring that up because my kid, he's an 8th grader going into freshman, but in his 8th grade year, like half the class had to redo a project because they did it through AI. My kid wasn't one of them. He did it himself. He might not have got a great grade, but he still, I think he got more points because he didn't use AI.
That's been going on for a while though. Like when I'm 10 years removed from college, and we were always having to submit our papers through a certain system, and it would go and see whether you plagiarized it
Plagiarism.
from any other. Like,
Dude, I would have used it 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
All day long.
They get college algebra, dude. ChatGPT.
For sure.
I don't think throughout high school, I don't think I ever read a full book. I think I just read the Spark Notes.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys have the same thing as myself, Bill, and Seth and Bill? We're all fight outs. Brooks is not. We can initiate you tonight if you want.
Mike.
We'd always have like exam answers from previous exams.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
At the house.
Yeah.
So you could go get the exams and look at it before your test the next day.
Yeah. What did they call that? It was there's like a file of all the old exams,
Yeah.
Really?
And if you would take a certain teacher, because you knew you had their file and their tests and everything, and a lot of that stuff was identical, man.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Like year over year, because the teacher they're not going to reinvent the wheel,
Right.
We were never that organized when I was in school.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we had a little system, man. Yeah.
Well, this conversation brings me to another topic, but it's kind of brought together. You're talking about having the papers for exams. Have you guys seen the show? I think it's like Your Friends and Neighbors.
No, it's on my TV watch list. Though.
Oh my God!
It's on Apple TV. Right?
Apple TV.
Is it John Hamm?
John Hamm.
Yeah, I watched it.
That is so good.
Yeah. Christy and I binge watched that.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
so
where
good.
he loses his job. I don't want to say too much, but
right.
yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
great.
But talking about being in a uppity neighborhood, how the parents paid for all the. This isn't a major part of the show, but how they bought the tests, answers to get their daughter into some school. But yeah, that's a really good show.
I'm really behind on TV right now.
Dude,
There's so many shows I
It's a good show. It's a good show.
I have in my TV watch. Nothing right now. I just finished up Tires. That was
season 1 or 2.
both. I binge watched it on. I think there's like 22-minute episodes. I think I just watched it like on an airplane or something like that. Then I was just caught up on. Speaking of Apple TV shows, have y'all watched that show Shrinking?
Familiar with it, but haven't seen it.
It's got Harrison Ford and who's the dude from Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Jason
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel, yeah.
Yeah, it's got him in there. It's a good movie. It's kind of a feel good movie. Kind of like if you ever watch Ted Lasso, like you just watch it and there's some sad parts, but then you kind of feel good. It kind of hits your softies a little bit. It's a pretty good show. So me and my wife just finished watching that, and that was pretty good. And then the other show that just kind of ended here recently was The Last of Us, which I played the video game.
Last season was terrible.
Well, it's so
terrible.
I there's some things I didn't like about it. What I will say is I played the video games growing up, and so I fully expected the second season to go that way because I know how the games go. So it was kind of like
There's a game in like that.
no. There's a whole second portion I think to the part two.
Is it going to be more seasons of Last of Us, or is that? Do you think
They got
that's
one.
it?
I think they're gonna do one more.
Are they?
But that was So I played the video game, and it was the only thing I didn't like is the Ellie character. So in the video game, you kind of watch her grow up, and she kind of matures. The actress that plays her, I felt like she was still playing the same character from the previous season, and like which would have been the first video game.
Right.
It's like they never let her grow up. She was still kind of a bratty like. And then so it was kind of like, and she gets a lot of heat too. And for that, I don't know if that's her fault or not. I'm not defending her. Yeah. But it was.
I loved her in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was good in that.
Game of Thrones is good. I don't know what the actress we're talking about, but
It
starts
say
with a B.
something offensive, but
Yeah, it starts with a B. But yeah, it was funny. So my wife, I played the video games. My wife and if you haven't watched the season, then maybe you want to tune out for a second. But my wife had never played the video games, and when Joel dies in the second season, she was in full-on tears, and I was like, she was mad at me because I didn't warn her.
oh,
She
jeez.
did mad. She was.
And she knew you knew from the games.
Yeah, and I was like, these emotions that you're feeling right now are what I felt when I played the video game. So it was fun to watch it with her. But yeah, I hope they make the third season. I know a lot of people are out on it. I have some sort of emotional attachment to it, so I'm gonna see it through the end.
I've never started it. But what do you? Benji?
we just finished. My wife and I are kind of self-proclaimed cinephiles. We love watching movies and TVs. Yeah, movies.
Okay.
You know, yeah. And so we just finished, at the recommendation of my sister, Mobland. On
I did just watch that too. That was one of the one I was thinking of. I forgot.
Yeah, it's Mobland is Pierce Brosnan and Tom Hardy.
Oh.
It's a UK gangster film. They're a London-based crime family. It was fantastic, really good. Tom Hardy is arguably the best gangster ever on the screen. Man, he's just this. And the way he portrays his character is always cool, level-headed, but you just fear he would snuff the life out of you at any second. You know. It was really good, Mobland.
How about the grandmother? So she's the same grandmother that's in 1923.
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
How about the flip? You love her in 1923, and then you just can't stand her.
Yeah.
She's like flip. Like I guess
She's this
I'm gonna have to turn on
Irish demon.
yeah. She's to go from that lovable character to that, like that's
Yeah, she's great. She's fantastic in it too. And Pierce Brosnan, he's been, of course, his resume speaks for itself, but he does a really good job. He's the leader of the family, and a lot of really good acting that he had to do in it. When he'd get angry, and it was really good. You definitely should watch.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Mike?
I would probably say, being a West Texas boy from Amarillo, kind of growing up in that area, and I lived in Midland for 3 or 4 years. Landman.
Yeah,
it's
it's a great one.
What's his name? Bobby.
Bob Thornton.
Yeah, it's so good, so good. So I can't wait for that one to come out again. Went through all the Netflix series. What I've recently been doing is going back and rewatching old ones. Like I just rewatched all of Ozark again.
I have not watched that yet.
You haven't
Everyone
watched
tells me.
Ozark?
Everyone
Oh,
tells me
my
I should
God.
watch it. I haven't watched it. It's in my to-be
One
watch
of the
list.
best. And now I've just started again Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Breaking Bad is so
Good to watch
good,
that
dude.
all the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Walter White, Eisenberg, so.
I've never seen Breaking Bad.
What?
I haven't.
For real?
What?
I think
Yeah, I know a
watched.
few of you out there in the world.
Yeah,
That's weird. It's the greatest show ever put on TV.
It's
My
probably the best show
opinion.
ever. Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah, you got to watch it, dude.
I
How many
watched it.
seasons?
I
Are
So
there?
you've watched it? Or you
No,
can?
I'm not. I
Is there
will
like
watch
5 or how many seasons? 5, 4, 5 seasons total?
5, 6, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember it came out, and I'm like, chemistry teacher turns like.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it
man,
is
that's
so
not-
good though, man.
And then
yeah.
you just kept hearing all this buzz. I was real late. My wife and I both were latecomers to it. And even when I pitched it to her, like, hey, let's check this out, chemistry teacher, she's like rolling her eyes, like, oh, come on, sounds terrible. And then, yeah, it's just phenomenal show.
Yeah, so
That was me with Game of Thrones though. Like
Same.
I was like dragons, like knights. Like this sounds like this. I'm not
Yeah.
into that. And then you watch it and it just
Yeah.
sucks you in. Then you're disappointed in the last season.
Right.
So that's what I got it. That's what I've been into. But recently, since my my boy likes playing PlayStation, so I recently bought a Xbox. Come to find out, you take your Xbox everywhere.
That's right.
So actually, Bill came staying at my house the other night on the way down here, and he goes, "Oh yeah, we're big Xbox players." I'm like, "No shit." And so I'm getting into Xbox now a little bit. It's pretty fun.
PlayStation guy.
My wife is addicted to Fortnite like a 12-year-old. I have to go to your room. No more Fortnite. She'll pout,
Can I get the what's the battle pass?
Oh,
Can we get the battle
I'll go
pass?
in, I'll be walking through the bedroom. She's teabagging some poor 10-year-old. She's like, I told you I'd get you. Like, babe, come on. That kid's probably 10.
Yeah. But I showed Bill there's a new game coming. I think it's like a drop to October called Arc Raiders, ARC Raiders.
Oh, that game looks cool.
It looks so dang cool. I'm not excited about playing that. So, yep.
Well, I just finished Vikings
That's good.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
good. Yeah.
on Netflix. So what is this? Ragnar? What is this? What is it? It's not Ragnarok. It's
One of the Viking
God, it's been a
names.
long
yeah.
years ago since I saw it.
Yeah. Anyways,
Ragnar?
Ragnar. Yeah, something like that.
Ellefson or something? It's been years since we watched it.
So now everywhere I go, I'm like Skull. It's pretty cool. And then I started playing Assassin's Creed on Xbox.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
there you go.
Played
Vikings,
that.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's basically the story of what I just watched.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And so some cool series are coming back, like Stranger Things is about to have another
Yeah, that's a
season.
big one.
Is that going to be weird?
They're old now,
They're
right?
old now, and it's like why'd y'all wait so long?
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's supposed to be like I think they said it's like only 4 episodes, but they're all like movie long episodes
really?
or something like that.
Really?
It's gonna be like it's not gonna be like it's gonna be like 4 parts or something like that, or 5 parts, and they're all like movie length long.
Like 2 hours.
I get yeah, whatever
Wow.
movie length means.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for that.
I'm gonna watch it because
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
watch
this far in.
Right. Yeah. Who's gonna miss the last season if you already?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll plug a show that not a lot of people have seen. I mentioned to Mike, and he couldn't get into it. It's a German show. I used to be able to get it on Netflix. So you can probably still find it. It's called Dark. I think 3 seasons, and it's a sci-fi time traveling mind bender, dude. And it's German, so you can do the English dub on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a little bit to get used to the
that's
the
tough.
mouth-
That's
the
tough
mouths
for me.
don't match, but you can get used to it. And dude, like it's rare that a show like
Yeah.
you're sitting on the couch with your wife and you're like, what? Like, just, it had moments like that in it, and Chrissy had to take notes because it's like starts leaping,
Yeah.
and you're like, and these different time threads are going, but it was really good, really good. It's must watch. Dark.
So, opposed to The Accountant 2, which is actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
What is that? It's called like The Barge or
The Gorge.
The Gorge.
Gorge.
I've turned like 3 people onto that movie.
So good.
Is it good? I've
Yeah.
seen it.
You've never seen it?
Oh yeah,
It was fun.
It was fun. Bro, you never
Shoot 'em
you
up.
never seen
you know?
Breaking Bad? Don't even talk to me, man.
I liked it. My cousin Carlos, he's former Army, retired veteran, was in Iraq and stuff, and he sat down and watched it. And then a couple weekends back, and then he was like, I had to put him on blast, but he was running around the house and he's always like kitted up with like he has his gear like in every corner, every whatever. And he's all like kitted up, like trying to like he's like, "Where's the Hollow Men at? Where's the Hollow Men at?" And if you haven't seen it,
Shout out to Carlos. He's our firearms coach.
yeah.
Yep.
So, are any of you guys former military?
No.
Nope.
No. Same here.
We act like we are sometimes. Where's Death does for sure.
Because you guys are.
I LARP from time to time.
Yeah.
I like guns. I like shooting. I used to work at a gun shop before I did this for a little while, and did it for a little while, got burnt out, kind of because when it comes to your job, it's not as fun anymore. And then
Yeah.
I've slowly kind of picked it up, and luckily I have a wife that doesn't question my firearms purchases.
Yeah.
So I get to kind of play with. It's kind of my tinker and play with.
That's
toys.
cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of feel like I maybe missed the mark in my life. Like that's probably what I should have done.
Yeah, I regret not doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed the mark, or like maybe that was who I was in a past life. I don't know if that's real, but I just feel like I have a deep connection to it somehow, but I didn't do that growing
Yeah.
up. Now I've got grandfathers that served in the military, and people in my family as well, but yeah, I just didn't know if that's like something that other people might feel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to make this a long story short, but Chrissy and I got pregnant with Logan, and I was teaching school at the time. I was making like 26 grand a year. It's like, man, I'm starting a family. I need to make more money. So I was looking at different options, and I looked at the military, and to go to OCS I was 29 when I started kicking tires. The only two that would take me were, I think I remember this right, Marine Corps and Air Force, and I'm colorblind, I can't fly. So, and I always admired Marines, hard chargers, all that stuff. So I was like, yeah, let me give this a shot. So I went down and talked to the recruiter in College Station, started doing the whole thing. I enlisted, I guess. I was sworn in, did the ASVAB, did the whole thing. MEPS, did the whole thing. And I had a date to ship out to go to Quantico in January of 2002. Yeah. So I'm teaching, I'm just in this waiting pattern, and 9/11 happens. And so my gunnery sergeant that was working with me calls me up. I still remember the call. He's like, hey, dude, you see what happened? I was like, yes, sir. He's like, how do you feel? And I was like, gung-ho. Of course, everybody's passionate about what was going on in the country at that time. He's like, hell yeah, you're still good to go. So, man, we sold our house. We got rid of our dog. Like they're like, dude, you're going. And so the last thing was like in November, final boards, and they just kept telling. And I know they're salesmen, part of this too. But he's like, final boards, no problem. Like all your scores are great. You're in. It's set. Be ready. So like like I said, sold the house, got rid of the dog. I'm getting ready. And final boards came up, and the captain called me and said, hey man, you were passed over. And dude, I was like, I had one of the most defeating feelings of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened, man? And he goes, post 9/11, we've had this big wave of candidates. And so I went from being a competitive candidate to, I was on an age waiver because I was going to turn 30 during OCS. So anyone on a waiver, it could have been if you had a DWI, or for me it was age, whatever waiver, immediately was culled from the pile.
Wow.
Because they had all these,
Somebody-
other, and so I just got passed over, and they're like, hey, but you can do it next time, and I was like, man, the ship
I'm out.
ship sailed. I'm not getting any younger. It's not going to be any easier, and so, yeah, that's my story. I have a lot of, but all things for a reason, right? My wife always says, if you'd have gone, you're the type of guy that had been running through doors, and you probably never would have come home.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Have y'all seen that? Not to go back on movies. Have y'all seen that movie Warfare?
Oh yeah.
They did?
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable.
That is
So
like
realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from my understanding is, I was reading up on it afterwards. So the guy who wrote it and directed it was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was, that's part of his story. And they went in, and basically if you said something happened and it couldn't be backed up by a second-hand account, like so someone said, yeah, that happened, or no, that we don't have any proof that happened. Like if you said, oh, I busted through this door and did this. And so they did that because they didn't want any sort of like embellishment. It was supposed to be like a realistic. And I took my wife and her sister to go see it, not warning them what it was going to be about in the movies. And at one point I had to get up and go to the bathroom because I've got a little girl bladder. And I'm like running to the bathroom, so I can get back. I don't want to miss anything. And I'm coming in, and like when you're walking into a movie theater when it's going on, you can see everybody's face because it's light. And they had the most horrified look on their face. And we walked out. They were like whispering to each other, like talking like real quietly. Like it was like, yeah. And they were like, what happened there? I was like, it's kind of trying to show you like what it was actually like. It's a pretty good movie.
It's a good movie, real good movie.
Impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had not a similar story to you, but when I come from a working class family. I watched my mom struggle to get an associate's degree over a 9-year period while she was raising 2 boys. And so the dream was always college or military. For my parents, it was like, hey, if you don't go to college, you're going to military. And so we're doing the whole college thing. I get accepted into SAM, and we're looking at how much it's going to cost and all that stuff. And it's a lot of money. And I was like, in my head, I was like, all right, well, how do I solve this? And so I had brought in an Army recruiter to the house and was like, and had him sit down at a table with me and my mom and my dad. And because they were going to offer to pay for my school. And I was like, look, this is a solution to pay for my school. And I saw the look on my mom's face when that Army recruiter sat down, and just like, I couldn't do that to her.
Right.
I was like, all right, this is, and luckily I think it's probably for the best. I mean, I got a great education, and who knows where I'd be now if I went with the other route.
Right. Well, yeah, that's it's pretty deep, man. And you just watch it on TV?
I just watch it, dude. I just watch it.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll finish up with maybe one more topic. You guys down? You guys down with conspiracy theories?
Oh yeah.
We'll just pick one.
Bill's Conspiracy Corner.
We'll be right back. Keep it tuned right here.
You're listening to the Gray Area Podcast, where the answers aren't always black and white, but the laughs are guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Gray Area Podcast. We've talked about quite a bit today, and we're going to finish up at Bill's Conspiracy Corner. I nailed it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Mr. Conspiracy.
So for those of you who don't know, we all work together, and about every time that we get together, Bill has got some sort of conspiracy of whether did we land on the moon. That's up for debate. UFOs,
Flat Earth,
flat Earth. Here you go.
Fed, all of it.
So it's always been entertaining to listen and then kind of combat him on that and debate. We do a culture index in our company, and Bill came back as a debater. So it's like perfect. He likes to throw out wild ideas and just to get a reaction, I think.
Most of the time, well, a portion of the time it is to go with people, right? Push their limit, like our buddy Lane, very conservative, old-fashioned. So for him to even have the conversation of flat Earth is just absurd. Like he just
Even
can't
though he lives in Lubbock, which is the flattest Earth you could find.
yeah, exactly. Look out your window, bro.
You think the world's round?
But this is it's fun for me. So I was raised by, I am my father's son, and this is pre-Rogan, pre-internet, pre any knowledge of being able to seek this out. I was fed about the Trilateral Commission, the Rockefellers, the Federal Reserve, ancient civilizations, UFOs, Anunnaki, like Bigfoot. I mean, from when I was little, I'd heard about this stuff. My dad talking about it, and that's a whole nother podcast about things he may or may not have been exposed to that where he got this information. But it's interesting. A lot of the stuff he told me about the Fed and these, the Fed, the Federal Reserve, 1913, that's a great conspiracy that we now know is common knowledge. I mean, dude, I got a college friend on Facebook with a master's degree that thinks the Federal Reserve is a federal government agency. He doesn't know it's a private bank. And this is a 50-year-old guy with a master's degree. Right? And so private bank, well, who owns the bank? And why did we give them the power to print money in 1913 when Congress had that power? That's a whole rabbit hole. But, hearing about that when I'm 10, right, like in the 70s, it was kind of, and now all that stuff we're finding out has legs, and it's interesting. But we were going to today delve a little bit into UFOs, and, there's some great information out there. Joe Rogan's had people on that have been into Area 51 and seen these technologies allegedly and all these kind of things. Bob Lazar.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he's the real famous one. I've read a lot of his books. But just some personal experiences. I've never met the Greys, you know, but I've seen some weird things. And one of the first ones, and once again, growing up with my dad, hearing stories, and we're in Corpus right now. So this was you can find this on the internet. This would have been in the early 70s. It was in the paper and everything and I don't really remember this, but my sisters do. And going out in the yard, and like everyone in the community in Corpus Christi here was going out and seeing lights in the sky. And it was on the news, like it was a big thing. And that was kind of like my earliest memory of being exposed to this type of phenomenon. And then later, so like the first thing I've seen, I guess, would be an encounter of the first kind, where you see something.
Right.
We were camping out in Oklahoma, in Turner Falls, and we're laying in the back of the pickup truck, and it's the first time I'd seen satellites across the sky. You know, and they're very fast as they move, and my dad would be like, "Hey, it's a satellite," and we're checking it out, and so it's like, "Hey, look at that one," and when we watch it, and this lights, you know, satellites travel in a line, right? They can't change direction on a dime.
Right.
And this satellite, we think it's a satellite, is going, and it stops, changed direction 90 degrees, and then split into two.
Ooh.
So 3 lights, and 2 lights split off the main light, and just traveled off in a line.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. What satellites don't move like that?
I thought I saw a UFO one time. It ended up being Starlink. And I was like, thanks, Elon.
So, I mean, has it ever crossed your mind this is super high-tech military stuff that we have no idea about?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people see things in the sky and like, oh my God, that has to be a UFO. Nope,
Well,
something-
but I think it's tied to say like Area 51. You know, like they captured that technology, or maybe other places in the world they reverse engineered some technologies and things. So could have been Air Force pilots in that thing. It
well, I
could
mean,
have been
like-
Greys. I don't know.
Like however many years ago, if you thought the stealth bomber, you thought, oh no way, that can be a, stealth bomber.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that looks like a freaking spaceship.
Yeah.
You know, but super advanced technology. So I think a lot of that stuff is some of our technology that no one knows about. It's kind of my own personal feeling.
Yeah,
I do
very well
believe
could
in
be.
UFOs somewhat, but I'm like Joe Rogan. Show me something. Show me a freaking corpse. Show me a spaceship.
Well,
You know,
we've
it's all
seen.
they always get real close, and then then it stops.
Well, there's that famous video of the Air Force pilot or naval pilot, one of the two, chasing an orb at the fastest speed he can go, and he's like, "Dude, that thing, it's defying all known physics the way it's moving," and counted many reports of people at sea seeing orbs going into the ocean and thinking maybe there's something, and they're going into the earth. I mean, we've explored a very minute percentage of our own oceans.
Don't we know more about space than than the ocean? I
Or more
thought
about the moon,
I read
maybe?
a stat about that. Maybe this moon. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
the
the
moon.
moon.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing to kick around, Are we alone? Was a huge X-Files fan. The truth is out there, and
Scully.
when you start to see now with the access to the internet, these videos, like I saw one the other day that showed, I'm gonna forget the name. It's our satellite that's the furthest out in space, Voyager 9 maybe. I think it's a Voyager class spaceship or satellite, and it showed a picture of the Milky Way, and it had a line like this way down in the corner, and I showed it to Chrissy. I said, "Hey, this is how far Voyager has traveled." And when you see that, you think, "Oh, wow, it traveled pretty far," but then it says, "This is how far it would travel in like 100 light years or some crazy amount of time, 1,000,000 light years." Like that's how vast the universe is.
Yeah.
So when you start looking at these scales, like there's a fun YouTube video that scales you out from Earth into space, and it shows the size of
all
different, and you're this minute speck by the end of this scale video, and to think we're the only intelligent life form, I think is rather foolish.
Right.
My
agree.
opinion.
I agree. I believe there's other things out there.
I know when I was a kid, I watched Signs, and that scared the shit out of me.
Well,
Some say, and to tie it into a current event with the Israel-Iran conflict,
They're here to save us.
that they're here to save us from thermonuclear war.
Yeah.
Maybe they have some type of shielding or technology to stop them in the air. You know, I don't know. God, I hope so.
Right.
You know.
Or to blow your mind, they are us a billion years from now, and they're trying to keep
So advanced.
they're trying to keep the civilization that we're going to become them from wiping ourselves out.
So are they on another timeline?
Huh? They could be.
Are you talking about the
They would
multiverse,
have
Mike?
to be if they're in our, if
you
they're
a
our
Marvel
future
fan?
selves.
Right,
Yeah.
Future selves, yeah.
So what's crazy is a lot of the stuff that we see on TV, I think, is a conditioning mechanism that our government has done with, you know, creating movies, because, you know, our government has a budget for film, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's how they condition us into what could possibly,
Getting us ready.
well, either that or to think that things are not real. But get us ready
Yeah.
or condition us that things are not real.
Well, the same, I don't want to get too deep here, but the same people, entities, overarching groups that own and control the media own and control Hollywood.
Right.
So that messaging can be synonymous really easy. And
Right.
hey, here's what we're showing you in the media. Here's a movie now to kind of reinforce those ideas.
Yes.
And even if it was something like, you know, where they didn't want us to learn about these technologies and all the media's poo-pooing on it, and then here comes a movie debunking it. Now, of course, sci-fi, there's a lot of different places it goes. I'm not saying they're controlling the message and trying to keep it down. Probably the other, it's creative and making us think. I'm not sure where I was going with that, but
So do you think we're the real Men in Black? Like, do you think that we're living amongst grays?
No, I don't.
And
do
wait,
that. I don't
reptilians and shapeshifters?
no, I don't do that.
so David Icke.
He's kind of out of there.
David Icke is he's like one of the, of course, everyone's familiar with Alex Jones, you know, and I was an early adapter with Alex Jones. And David Icke makes Alex Jones look tame.
Really?
Yeah,
Like
crazy.
he's a British journalist, used to be a sportscaster turned conspiracy theorist, and he's got you can dig on the internet, you got to dig, and you can find a video of his called the Saturn Moon Matrix, where he talks about reptilians on Saturn control the moon as a satellite, and they're beaming information and controlling us. He's real big on the reptilian theory and shapeshifters and all this kind of stuff. And it's pretty bananas. But that documentary, the Saturn Moon Matrix, I promise you there's things in there you watch and you're like, I don't know about that's interesting, you know. And then some of it's like kind of laughable bananas, but he'll make you think.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what you want. You want to think.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Shapeshifters, reptilians.
Yeah,
I haven't, honestly, I haven't thought that much about it. You know, if they're there, then cool, whatever. If they're there, they're there. It's not going to change anything.
I think his theory is they're like a matrix type thing where they're feeding off our energy, and they use the moon. You know, the moon is a trip in itself. I read this book a while back about the moon, and it's really bizarre, man. And like stuff we don't know about the dark side of the moon. And
Yeah, well, I've heard that recently. So we've never seen the dark side of the moon ever. The other side of the moon.
Somebody has.
I think China recently claimed to get some images of it or something.
And I think they said
I can't remember.
on the dark side. Some podcasts that I was listening to, they said it was like a perfectly rectangular formation. Like there's no way nature could cause that. Like, I mean, perfect angles on the backside.
Well, you look at the diameter and the circumference of the moon and its position from the Earth and the sun, that it can cause perfect solar eclipses. Like, what are the chances of that in nature being perfectly lined up like that? It's just strange. And like the moon cycle tied to, you know, 30-day moon tied to a woman's menstrual cycle, 30-day cycle, and what's up with that? And
Well,
it controls the oceans. And
I'm sure when we went to the moon, I'm sure we would have looked around and seen what was up there. Because we went to the moon, right, Bill?
allegedly, but hey,
Allegedly.
we conveniently lost all the telemetry data to go back.
Exactly.
You know, so
Recently they actually just got cores from the moon.
Got what?
I believe it was cores and sent back to NASA. I had a buddy who works for NASA. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was on the news and he was in charge of analyzing that data.
Wow.
So,
So
you
they
know
had
what
a
I mean?
satellite drill core samples into the moon.
Yes. So what happened was the cores were actually welded shut. So when they come back, they couldn't open it. So they had to do they had to be careful with how they did it so they didn't contaminate what was inside.
Oh, interesting. Yep.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But yeah, man, that's
Yeah, I'm the guys like to kick me for if I think we went to the moon or not.
But my
I-
question,
you know.
make a good point. Why have we not gone back since?
There were a couple
Yeah.
of missions to the moon
Right.
post Neil Armstrong. Shout out Fidel Neil Armstrong. So that's kind of cool.
Yep.
But there's just a lot of it that time won't allow here. That if you do your own dive and look at some information, a lot of there's funky pictures on the moon.
Yeah.
There's pictures of guys in space suits with bubbles, which indicates they're underwater in a tank at NASA somewhere. It just seems fishy, man. And to think we were able to pull this is what really gets me is I know there's a lot of testing and stuff, but so the Russians, two things. The Russians they were kicking our ass in the space race.
Right.
But they couldn't get animals, living things, through the Van Allen radiation belt.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, JFK gets up there. We will send a man to the moon, and we
Did it pretty quick.
figured out real quick.
Real quick.
Remember what I said earlier? If you control the narrative, or if you're first with the information, you control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So if the information and the narrative is we went to the moon, we conquered the moon, we won the space race. Well, now we're the world power. Russia's left scrambling, and so to think there wasn't definitely a lot of politics behind that. The need to get to the moon, but the fact that we were able to ramp up so quickly, kind of get it on our first shot. I know there were trial rockets and this, that, and the other, but and to launch there, orbit, send a vehicle down, the lunar lander. You've seen the pictures of that
yeah.
thing
All perfect.
put together
and,
with tinfoil
Yeah.
and old TV antennas. Like, come on, man. And then, so they were going around the moon, and then they launch off the surface of the moon back to this vessel that's orbiting and nail it the first time.
Perfect. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Probably a NASA scientist out there right now cussing you.
Well, I'm sure. I'm not a physicist. I'm not an astronomist. I can barely count past my fingers. I'm not a mathematician, but
I am going to ask Gronk as soon as this podcast is over.
Gronk?
Did we go to the moon
Gronk.
or not? I'm going to ask Gronk.
it's not. Ask Gronk.
Ask Gronk. Gronkowski. Yeah.
The Van Allen belt is what is my major question mark.
Yeah.
That's why.
And then you get like watch old videos of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin when they come back. They just did the greatest thing in mankind's history, going to another planet and walking on its surface. And when they come back, dude, they're like stoic, almost look depressed, like they were maybe fed lines, like they weren't happy. They weren't like, oh my
God.
dude, when we got off the ladder, it was like
Yeah.
they were like, yeah, we did our mission, did our job.
Yeah.
They're like this. And then other older videos, like there's a famous video of a guy going up to Buzz Aldrin. He's an old man, in his late Buzz at this time. And he goes up to him with a Bible in his hand.
Oh yeah.
And he says, will you swear in this Bible that you went to the moon? And he got pissed and like swung on the dude.
Wow.
Yeah. I seen
Yeah,
that.
and there's videos of that out there. It just seems kind of
Yep. Fishy.
I'm willing to not, if I had to like put $1 million on it, honestly, I don't know where I'd go. I think there's enough holes in the story that make it plausible to me that we did not go.
I guess we'll never know.
Or will we? You're about to ask Grok.
I'm going to.
Well, Grok will just take what it's
the internet.
fed, you know. So the a lot of the theory is that Stanley Kubrick was behind. So here
Kubrick,
and
yeah.
here's where, it's a good challenge to me. So let's do the counter argument. Well, how would all of those people keep it secret, Bill? All those people in
Yes,
NASA.
Yeah, someone's going to come
How
out
do
and
you
say
keep
something.
that secret?
Right.
Well, the hardcore theorists would say they were watching videos filmed beforehand. Stanley Kubrick did them on a movie set, and they're watching videos, so they're doing their job.
So they think they're actually going to the moon.
Yeah.
Not.
I think
It's
they're
on a
doing
video.
it.
Yeah.
There's a
Could be.
movie out. I watched it with my wife. It's called Fly Me to the Moon. I think it's got like
Oh, yeah.
Channing Tatum
Channing
and
Tatum.
Scarlett Johansson in it, and it's all about they had a whole like a whole separate movie set set up because in case anything went wrong with the moon landing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
It's not exactly what you're talking about, but it's what makes me think about.
Yeah. But it's cool, man. I mean, space is a really interesting topic, and the distances are so vast. And with our technology now, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. You know, if Elon gets to Mars in our lifetime, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Alpha Centauri, the next star, is how many light years away? Light years.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, it's a weird place out there, man.
Yep.
So, Bill, if you'd be on to coming back on the show, and let's have like an hour-long conversation about the Anunnaki.
Yep.
We
We
can
can do Egypt. We can do
Yeah,
Göbekli
Egypt.
Tepe. You
Yeah.
know, I'm no Graham Hancock, but I dabble. You know, I'd love to do the Federal Reserve. That's a fun
Oh,
one. Real quick, so for all the people that are like, no, the Fed are the good guys, go on Google and watch The Creature from Jekyll Island. It's a guy giving a speech, and that was the title of his book. Jekyll Island is the island off the coast of Georgia where these the richest families in the world met at Jekyll Island to create the Fed, and they met with representatives from the U.S. government to start this banking cartel, and the government gave the power to print coin to the Fed, and so we pay a private bank interest to print money. So you know we run a deficit every year. We're $32 trillion in debt. Who profits off of that? A private bank that we're paying interest to print our own money. It doesn't make any fucking sense, man. and nobody talks about it. Like we want to, our politicians sit up there and talk about the debt and cutting spending and all. The only guy who says audit the Fed is Rand Paul.
Right.
And I think Thomas Massey is on his team now, the two libertarians up there.
Yep.
But everyone else is just like, oh, God, gee, I wish the Fed would lower the interest rate so I could get a better home loan. No, man, that should be disbanded.
Right.
Dude,
Yeah.
those criminals should go to jail for what they've done. And nobody talks about it.
I
I think you've lived up to the hype of being a conspiracy theorist.
What's the next level?
You're not stopping.
Through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you're up in like Dallas Fort Worth, but you could probably do a Zoom or something. Right?
Yeah, man, zoom me in.
Because you ain't flying down every month or anything.
Yeah.
Or I'll catch you next time you're in Houston.
Yeah, man.
Sounds good. Yeah, that'd be
Anytime.
fun.
Bill's Conspiracy Corner.
Hey, we'll add it to the show for sure. So before we jump off here, we talked about a lot, and I appreciate you guys coming out, doing this show with me today. We've had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on the trip, the fishing trip. If you guys have anything you want to plug, what you guys are a part of, or what you want to, if you're doing it, you guys are older. I don't know if you're on social media or anything.
What is that?
Oh yeah, right. But or Seth, if you are, I'll give you guys the table. We can start with Seth, and I know I put you on the spot, and I apologize.
No, it's fine. It sounds like I go first every time. Well, just looking across this, I know that like a lot of us have had women in our lives affected by cancer. My mother, Bill's wife, Mike's family, our boss's wife, a lot of people. It seems like I know more and more. So, you know, go get your checkups. That's always important. And my mom went through the breast cancer thing, and when she went through that, it was her sister went and got checked. My cousins went and got checked, and everyone got checked. And luckily, nothing too terrible out of any of that. But it's always good to kind of promote that. So. One thing that I kind of think is passionate for all of us here, not to get sappy or anything like that, but looking across this table, it's something I wanted to at least mention if you're going to give me the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's good.
Yeah, hard to comment on top of that, but yeah. This is a codcast? I'm too old. What is this called again?
Podcast.
And this goes out on the intranets?
Yeah.
To the
Interwebs.
and people when they watch it?
And
Are they,
listen.
and will it go on the Insta book?
Yeah.
So I'm old, but I'm not ancient. But yeah, man, this is a lot of fun. I don't really have anything to plug. This is fun. I hope your program continues to grow. You have a great presence and fun guy, fun topics. And I hope people tune into your show and this thing starts to grow for you. And thanks for having us on.
Yeah. So this has been a super fun day. Fishing was great. Hanging out with you guys was great. I think I got on TikTok last month just so I could send my kids Bigfoot videos back and forth. So it's been super fun. And I guess the thing I will end on is the older I get, I think I start seeing how important it is to have close friends. You guys are all close friends. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We all go through things in life, and it's always good to have friends to call and just to talk to. So, that's my suggestion, or my to whoever out there, man. Just stay close to your friends and love everybody as much as you can, because you never know how long you're gonna be here.
Yeah, right on.
Right.
That's right.
Yep.
So, as we close this episode, one of the things that I want to say is when we do these, kind of along the lines of what we've all talked about, it's to bring awareness to things that we're passionate about. Those that we care about. We like to have them near us. That's why we have guests. We have guests that we enjoy, that we know. Sometimes we'll have strangers, but it's because that they're bringing information to the masses, right? And that's what this podcast is about. It's about having fun, friendships, and information, and sharing it with all of you out there. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Sometimes it's every other week, sometimes it's every week. And sharing your comments, laughs, whether these guys might make fun of me, because I rarely do the making fun of, and just laughing along with us, and I appreciate you guys coming along the ride. So stay here with us. Next time we have an episode, the Gray Area Podcast. You can find us on all our social medias, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on all of the platforms. Make sure you share it, because that's one thing that this doesn't go anywhere unless you share it, because that's really important in the social media world. And like I said, tell us what you want us to talk about next time we're out there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time, and love each other.